Welcome to Briar's Music Showcase. I'm Briar Cisneros, and welcome to another live stream. It hasn't been that long since the last one, I don't think. It's been like, what, 2 months, roughly? So, I think the time is right. So of course, this was supposed to happen on Sunday, which was my birthday, but due to technical issues, I couldn't do it. So here we are, just kind of making up for it. So as you see in the title, it's going to be a CD haul, going through all the CDs I bought throughout the month of September. We got a lot here, probably for this year alone. This is probably the most I've bought. So it says so in the description, so it's no secret. But we have 52 CDs or albums to get through, so it's gonna take us a bit to get through all of it. So we'll see what happens there. So yes. So before we do that, a couple more new stuff that's come. So hopefully, I'm not sure if people have noticed. The picture quality looks a little bit better. Is because I recently got a new webcam, so this should look a little bit clearer than my old one, which I still have over here. This is the webcam I've used for the past few years. Served me well, but I think I needed an upgrade. So this is a Logitech Brio, if I'm not mistaken, and it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. So yes, so good investment on my part. So I guess that counts as buying myself a birthday present. I also got a new TV over there. If you can see, because my old one stopped working. So yeah, I got a new TV. That was like a present for my mom and my brother. So very good, very happy with that one. It's a smart TV too, which is very cool. So yeah, very happy with that. All right, anything else going on? No, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you enjoyed my recent video I put out earlier today. Just unboxing the vinyl. The CD I kind of unboxed already. But that stuff was sent to me by Garrett over at SoundLab Studios. Go make sure you go check that video out and subscribe to Garrett's channel while you're at it. So very cool. Just have them there just to show. Let's see. Now let's go to the comments here. All right, we have Mike from Did You See That? Legend is live. You got that right. Anyhow, but yes, hope you're doing well, bro. I am doing pretty well today. Thank you very much for asking, and glad you can be here, Mike. Okay, next up we have Dwarf Killer 2021. Hello, nice to see you. And here we have Jason. Hello. Picture quality looks great. Thank you. Let's see. Yes, I was gonna say your room looks really lit up. Yeah, it's lit well. It normally would be dark, but I have a light down there, and for the light that's on my face, I'm just using my phone. As you can see, I have the flashlight on, just so you can see me better. Okay, and did you have a good birthday? Yes, it was pretty nice for the most part, aside from my internet issue. Yeah, it was a pretty good day. I went to the record store, so what a good way to celebrate a birthday. But yeah, I did buy some stuff. I was gonna go through them on the day of the live stream to show them off, but couldn't do it then. So I guess we'll leave them as a surprise. But maybe I'll show them in the October CD haul. So yes, and then yeah, for the most part, just relaxed most of the day. That's pretty much what I always want in a birthday. Just kind of just chill, don't do anything. It's a good thing I got all my homework done prior, so I didn't have to worry about anything. So yeah, it was aside from the internet issue, it was a nice birthday. I enjoyed it. We have Mickey. Happy belated birthday. Thank you very much. For those who are wondering, I am 24 now. 24. Which is funny because technically this is the 24th CD haul I've done on this channel. So if you count all the CD hauls, it goes up to 24. So how about that? That correlation will probably never happen again. But yeah, thank you, Mickey. Of course, how else would you spend your birthday? Yes, pretty much. All right, so we have 5 people in here so far. Thank you very much for watching. So let's see. I was 24 once, I think. Yeah, it was a little bit ago. I assume. But yeah, I'm gonna be 25 next year, so I'm gonna be a quarter of a century years old next year. So that's gonna be fun to think about. Um, but yeah, so let's see. So I guess we could get started now. I was gonna I was gonna ask this anyway, but of course, since this technically is a belated birthday stream, if anybody wants to come up and join me as I go through the city hall, feel free to let me know, and I'll put a link in the chat, just so in case you want to chime in on some of the things I got. Again, feel free to. I could use some company right now, but besides that, it's all down here from here, JK. Tell that to my mom. Anyhow, not to get into that. But yeah, let's do it. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Copy. Let me just go ahead. There we go. I put the link to the live chat in the chat. So again, if anybody want to come up, feel free to. But other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So, 52 CDs to get through. So truth is, due to school and work, I didn't get to listen to all of them. I listened to a good majority of them. Like I'd say I listened to like 98% of it. But there's like a couple that I didn't have time to, which I'll go over first. So first up, we have one of those. I've shown these before, but one of those 5-in-1 packs, those little mini box sets, which has 5 albums. So this one I got is Shaka Khan original album series. So of course these are her solo albums because of course she was in a band called Rufus before, but by '78 she went solo, and so this has her first 5 albums. So I didn't get to listen to all of them. I only listened to 2 of them. So the only 2 I listened was her debut, which of course is just called Shaka. Pretty good debut, I must say. Okay, and so we have actually, hold on, we have somebody in the wings here, so let's bring him up. It's Jason.
Hey.
Oh, how you doing?
Doing all right. I didn't want to, crash in on your whole thing, but you said it was okay. So
Yeah, it's fine. People crash parties all the time. So yeah, we're talking about Shaka Khan right now.
Shaka Khan.
Yes.
Okay.
So, do you have any thoughts on Shaka Khan?
I only know the name. I don't know anything about Shaka Khan.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat because I know she did a lot of backing singing for a couple songs I knew, most notably "Higher Love" by Steve Winwood, which she sung. She was the female vocalist on that track. But yeah,
I mean, great name.
Yeah, very catch your attention. But the reason why I got this was because I think it was on the radio, and one of the songs that was on this album called "I'm Every Woman." I heard that song, was like, oh my god, I love this track. I want to know what album this is on. And of course, it was on her debut. So I went on Amazon, and they didn't have like these individually, so I might as well just get the 5-in-1. So yeah, very strong debut for the most part. Again, this came out in 1978. Some other good songs is "Love Has Fallen on Me," which is really good. "Roll Me Through the Rushes," "Sleep on It," "We Got the Love," "Some Love," "I Was Made to Love Him." Solid debut. I quite liked it. And then the other one I got around to listen was her second solo album, which was called "Naughty." This came out in 1980. Again, very good songs as well. I think I still prefer the debut a little bit more. "Clouds" was a good
Describe her
song.
R&B.
Yeah, kind of R&B. By this point, she's kind of a little bit disco, kind of funk.
Scope, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I haven't heard her late '80s stuff, but I know she gets more into that '80s production type of sound. But here it's still kind of has that '70s feel still. Um, let's see what else. Nothing's gonna take you away. So naughty. Too much love. Yeah, solid second album.
Okay.
And the collection also came with her third album, which was called what you gonna do for me?
Good hair.
Yeah. 80s are starting to take hold. This one is just called Shaka Khan, so I guess it's another self-titled album.
So I'm thinking like Tina Turner, Donna Summers type of era.
Yeah, kind of around that same boat, I would say. And then I think this is probably her best-selling album. This is called I Feel For You, which I know the title track was pretty big for her and was written by Prince too, which is what I've heard. So it's kind of cool. So again, I'll get around to listening to the last three once I get the time. But other than that, that's all the ones that I didn't get a chance to listen to. Everything on out I have listened to at least once. Next one. This is I kind of divide into categories. So we're in the second category. So this category is basically albums that were given to me. So I didn't buy them, somebody gave them to me. And the first one, I think, Jason, you're going to be pretty familiar with this first one. So it's this album right here. Yes, so those watching, Jason actually sent me this one. It's a Weird Al, Alapalooza. So 1990, I have it here. So 92, I think. 93. So it's 93.
Well, same year Jurassic Park came out, 93. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. But the
Because
album
that's a song,
cover.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All right, so very good album. I really enjoyed this one.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's the thing about Weird Al. Even if there's some parodies or covers, I'm like, okay, that's okay. I can't say didn't like it, didn't like listen to it, because with Weird Al, he has this very, very chill vibe to him that you just kind of vibe with. Yeah, very enjoyable. Of course, it has Jurassic Park on it, which Jason already mentioned. That's a fun song.
That's the best song. I love that song.
Yeah. Then you have Young, Dumb, and Ugly, which is supposed to be a parody of the AC/DC style.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting take.
Yeah.
I could tell it's probably a bit outside his wheelhouse, because I think I've read that even Weird Al thought he was kind of stretching on that one.
Yeah, not my favorite, but it's okay.
Yeah. But see, you have another single off here, Bedrock Anthem, which was a Red Hot Chili Peppers parody.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I really like Frank's 2000-inch TV. I think I really enjoy it. That was a fun. I like that one a lot. Then you have Achy Breaky Song, which is poking fun of Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
I remember that song, Achy Breaky Heart.
Yeah.
By Billy Ray Cyrus. Now it's kind of I don't know if he's a joke, but he's not as revered, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say he's kind of a one-hit wonder, pretty much.
Yeah. He's famous for his daughter, I'm afraid.
Yeah, pretty much. Especially because I grew up on Hannah Montana. Well, I didn't watch Hannah Montana, but I knew it was pretty big when I was growing up. So, of course, Billy Ray Cyrus was on the show. So,
yeah,
interesting.
Not the best actor, but
yeah. It's kind of corny. Traffic Jam, which is supposed to be a Prince style parody.
Is it? Okay, I like that song.
Yeah, that's a good one. I liked. Living in the Fridge, Aerosmith parody.
That song,
very fitting, given what's coming up later this week.
Oh man, every time I hear that Aerosmith song, I heard "Living in the Fridge" before I ever heard "Living on the."
Mm-hmm.
And so when I hear "Living on the Edge," I just think it's a "Living on the Fridge" parody. I'm like, all I can think about, because I love living in the fridge is hilarious, and did a pretty good job. Aerosmith style.
Yeah, I'd say so. It was probably one of my favorite songs on that album.
There's this part where he's talking about this food that's been in the fridge for a long time, and they're almost afraid to look at it or open it anyways. And finally at the end, towards the end of the song, he says something like, I'm gonna take a peek. And then it pauses, and in the "Living on the Edge," there is a big pause.
Right.
And then a scream. Living in the Fridge is screaming because he opened up the food. That was
Yeah,
perfect
yeah,
pairing.
yeah. That was a good one. Let's see, Waffle King was another standout song. That's a Peter Gabriel style
Ah,
parody. So it's kind of poking fun at the style of weird Peter Gabriel for a solo career. And then it closes out, and I can see why you sent me this one because it
yeah,
has the
that's the reason why I sent it to you. Yeah.
yeah has the Bohemian Polka, which of course Weird Al is known for having polka kind of medleys in his album, but this one is different
Yeah,
where it's just one song
it's just
and
one song.
it's just Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yeah, it's straight
but
up
done
Bohemian. It's just
but it's a polka style one.
yeah.
But yeah, I actually have heard this cover a while ago.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a fun cover. Like I mean, it's supposed to be a joke, and so that's all you can take it for. So it's still a
Yeah.
fun little
Yeah.
cover. All right, so that is Alpalooza. So thank you, Jason, again for sending me this,
You're
of
welcome.
course. And
I
did
knew
you
you didn't
also?
have much in that Weird Al category, so I was like, you need some Weird Al.
Hmm, well, I will say that might be changing this month. But yes, did you also send me did you send me another one?
Yes. Uh,
Okay, I was thinking so because it was a
hasn't got
bare.
though, I
Is it?
guess.
Yeah, yeah, it hasn't shown up yet. So it's a bare
Yeah.
naked ladies one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I
Yeah,
was hoping
so
they came together. I hate that they came
yeah,
separate, but
yeah, I'm assuming you got it from like a third party seller on Amazon.
probably I
Yeah,
guess.
so yeah, those take a lot longer.
Yeah, it should be getting to you by tomorrow, is what it told me. But
Okay, that's good then. All
so
right, yeah. All right, so let's keep going. So next up, these next 9 are by the same person. So I did a video
no,
unboxing. Yeah, I already did a video, but it was shout out to Tom's Hit Parade. He's the one who sent me these 9. Technically, he sent me 10, but one of them I already have, which was Huey Lewis and the News Sports. So I'm not going to talk about it here because I already talked about that one before. So these next 9, though, I have not heard before. And I actually had them ranked here. So I'm going to start with the one that was my least favorite and then go up to my absolute favorite. All right. So at the bottom, so again, it's not bad, but wasn't like my favorite. Uh, First up, Paul Abdul, Forever Your Girl. So it's kind of late 80s, kind of R&B slash pop slash dance pop, which I don't mind that. But the thing is that it's kind of the same throughout. There's not a lot of that songs that really stood out. I feel like if this had more ballads, I think it would have saved this album more. But not really. It kind of stays upbeat the whole time, which again is fine. But I kind of like have more variety. There was really 3 songs that really stood out to me. And there's 10 songs on here. So the first song, The Way That You Love Me, was pretty good. The title track I kind of liked. The one song I actually did know, and I didn't know she sang the song, was Straight Up, which was a
yeah,
yeah. So
it was
I
a
was
big one.
like, yeah, it was a big song, and then I heard it. I was like, I didn't know she sang the song. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, as a whole, this album's it's okay. It's not nothing.
Okay, well, I have one of her big hits on it, so that's
Yeah,
interesting.
this has one of them, and I have another one of hers. Spellbound is what it was called. It's up there, but I think I prefer that album over this album. Um, so yeah, next up, this is a band I had no idea, I never heard of before. We have Stroke 9. Never heard of them. Have you heard of them? Yeah, so they're kind of this alternative rock type of band. That's pretty much all there is to say. Um, yeah, there's like 4 songs that stood out, and there's 12 songs on here. Came out in 1999, so year I was born, so that's something. But the problem with this album is that, again, it's the late 90s, and so alternative and post grunge was the big thing. And the thing is, it stays the same throughout the whole album. There's not much variety. All the songs kind of blend together where I can't really decipher distinguish them from one song from another. It, it's just the same tempo for the most part. Again, the first song I liked called Letters, which is okay. Tale of the Sun, Make It Last, and Down were the only four that ones that really stood out. But the vocalist sounds. I like the vocalist. I think he sounds pretty good. But again, kind of would have liked a bit more variety on this one, but it's okay. Right, next, another one I had never heard of. We have Better Than Ezra. This is their album called Deluxe. Have you heard of them?
I've heard of them. Are they they're hard rock band, I want to say?
Yeah, kind of hard rock, post grunge, alternative rock again.
I remember people talking about them. Like, definitely I've heard some people who are fans of that. I've never really delved into them though.
Yeah, this came out in 1993. At least the CD. I looked it up. The release of this album was kind of weird because it came out. I can't remember. I don't know if it came out on a vinyl or cassette first, because this came out a year before the CD came out, which is kind of weird. But obviously it's a little bit higher. This definitely had more songs that stood out to me more.
That'd be up your alley, that kind of music. I don't know.
Yeah, I know Tom said he thought I would really enjoy this one. And I did. It was still pretty good, but again, it kind of has the same problem. Again, a lot of songs that kind of feel the same. Not much variety. But I definitely preferred it a bit more than Stroke 9, In the Blood, Southern Girl, Rosalia, Porcelain, Heaven. Yeah, about half of this is pretty strong. The other half is kind of like, it's fine. It's okay. It's just okay. But then again, like I said in these CD hauls, usually I only have time to listen to them once. So maybe in the future, maybe it'll click for me more if I have more time with them. Keep going. Next up, another person I never heard of, Lucy Silvis. So I'm assuming you don't know them. Don't know her. Yeah. So kind of a pop, adult contemporary type of artist.
Okay.
Kind of very piano heavy. It's basically just her and piano for the most part, which is nice. And she has a great voice.
Like music.
yeah. I think something. I think my mom would have liked this too, but she didn't know her either. So, but yeah, there's some great songs on here I really enjoyed. Don't Look Back, Last Man Standing, Breathe In, Without You, What You're Made Of. Probably the one that surprised me is that she does a cover of Metallica's Nothing Else Matters, which is kind of yeah. I think that's pretty fitting for her. I mean, it's definitely not too heavy. It's one of Metallica's more mellower songs.
I would say I can see that being a pop song.
Yeah, and she does a pretty good version of it. There's some great strings on this album too. Yeah, I enjoyed this one quite a bit.
Cool. What was her name?
Lucy Silvis.
Lucy.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, not bad looking either.
Yeah, not too bad.
I'll have to maybe look her up.
All right, next. Okay, this one was kind of a shock. Another one I didn't know about. So this is called somebody called Keb Mo. This album is called Peace Back by Popular Demand.
Looks like blues, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was just gonna be kind of a straight up blues album, which I do like some blues, but for a whole album, it kind of gets like a little bit repetitive. Yeah. But this one kind of surprised me, actually. There's actually a bit more to it. It definitely does have blues, but there's also a little bit of jazz as well. And it's a little bit of folk too. And I really enjoyed his voice. I think he has a really good voice. So yeah, there's actually quite a bit of covers on this album. I mean, it starts off with a cover with For What It's Worth, which of course is the Buffalo Springfield song, which is, I think he does a pretty good version of it. What else? I mean, the album closes off with Imagine by John Lennon. And then he also does a version of The Times They Are Changing by Bob Dylan.
Okay, good.
So yeah, some good playing all around. Again, it was actually a lot more jazzy than I thought it was going to be, which of course I dig that sort of thing. Yeah, very solid stuff. Okay, next up, we have Nellie McKay, Get Away From Me. So
Yeah,
this,
the parental
yeah,
advisory one.
yeah, I was kind of like, no,
I
I
was
don't
curious
know.
about.
Oh yeah, I don't know about this one. That's what. So I thought, is she like actually a hip hop artist, but she's just playing this character? It's kind of half right. There is a little bit of hip hop, but it's not like,
Really?
but it's
Okay.
only like it's very minimal. I think there's only a couple songs where it definitely has a hip hop influence, but for the most part, it's kind of more of a pop, almost baroque pop, um, even
Okay.
a little bit
Cool.
of indie rock as well. Um, but the word I can describe this album is quirky. It's a
Okay.
very quirky album because she definitely has a very quirky style to her. Um, and the reason why there's a parental advisory because she does swear on a couple songs, but it's kind of not. It's kind of meant for as a joke. She's not really. It's not really. I guess she's trying. It's kind of more satire. It's not like full on comedy, but it's not really. But it's mostly a satire of just modern living, basically at the time. Definitely sounds like something you would hear on like Broadway or something, or some kind of stage play. And funny enough, when I did my research, she actually did go on to Broadway, which I don't know what play she was in, but that's why that. But yeah, that
I said
listening to this, it
I
makes
thought she
total
was like a
sense.
Broadway actress. Looking at that
Yeah, and
picture,
yeah, it definitely sounds like it too.
that's
So
interesting.
I can actually see myself digging this album even more on multiple
Hmm.
listens because again, there's 18 songs in total.
Wow.
Yeah, there's 2 discs. It's a 2 disc
Oh,
pack.
okay.
This could have actually this actually could have fit in 1 disc, but I think she insisted have it being 2 for some reason.
Okay.
I guess to boost sales maybe, but yeah. And I did some research and this actually is pretty good. It's got a lot of good
What reviews?
reviews. Yeah. So very interesting. Um
Okay.
yeah, just like I'll just go through some of the songs I enjoyed. Manhattan Avenue, Ding Dong, the Dog Song, Waiter, Change the World, Won't You Please Be Nice, Work Song, Cloney, Respectable, just to name a few. So yeah, not a bad one. And look, and we have another comment by Mike.
Hey,
There he
Mike.
is. Yes. Of course, people watching, we have 5 people watching us right now. Of course, if you want to throw in your 2 cents in the chat, please do go ahead and do so.
I'm
Okay,
kind of watching, I guess.
yeah, you're kind of watching a little bit, but kind of doing both. All right. Next up, we're in the top 3 of this section.
Top three.
Okay. So next up, we have Tori Amos, Little Earthquakes. Any thoughts on her?
Um, I've heard that name. I've heard people are fans of her. I didn't.
Hmm.
I wonder if I know some of her music and I just don't know it, but because I couldn't name you a song off the top of my head. Um, no, okay, yeah, I know. I'm trying to think of who she is, and there's a couple of those female artists in that era that I get mixed up in, but yeah, I don't know much about her.
Yeah, listen to this album, and yeah, I didn't know any of the songs. She's when I heard her voice, it's the first thing I thought was this is very Kate Bush influenced. And
Okay.
of course, when I did some research, Kate Bush was actually one of her big influences, and so this I definitely hear all out those Kate Bush styles. She would definitely has a bit of a wide range, kind of playing with her vocals a lot on this album, which I really dug. Some great piano playing. It's kind of piano based, but also has some pop, a little bit of indie rock as well. Um, some songs that really stood out was Crucify, Silent All These Years, Precious Things, Happy Phantom, China, Leather, and the title track. Yeah, very a lot of stuff going on. Again, this is one of those albums I need to listen to more to really appreciate a bit more. But on the first listen, I really dug it. So yeah, maybe I'll check out more of her in the future. Okay, before we continue, we have more from Mike. 2 legends in the house. The party has started.
Already just started. Yep.
Yes. Right, and then he
It's only 1:30 or 2:30 in the afternoon, but it's a
yes.
party.
Yep, it's something. And then he follows up, who's an artist you dislike from the modern era of music? Kanye West.
Okay, West. Okay, that's
Yeah.
quick.
I mean, there are many times I've considered checking him out because people, especially say people swear by his early stuff was groundbreaking and amazing, but given his recent escapade, yeah, that's killed that.
Yeah, you know the band I just can't stand, and everybody loves
Which one?
is Radiohead. I just
Oh, gotcha.
I find them so boring. Like I literally like was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to an album, and I literally fell asleep while listening to it, and woke up and was like, oh yeah, I was listening to a Radiohead album, and
Mm,
I, I, I and anytime I say that to Radiohead fans, man, they get so upset at me, and I get
right.
it. So I
Yeah.
hate Radiohead fans because I always get in fights with Radiohead fans when I tell them I don't get it. It's boring music and there's nothing to. I don't know. I just don't get Radiohead.
Mm, I
But
get
people
you.
love them. I mean, what's it called? Okay, Computer. It's like
Mm,
it's the greatest album ever, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, what's like? I listened to it, and I was like, I don't get one song that's like a hit song off of that thing. And here's my thing: Creep was a great song. I really like Creep. I'll give them that.
mm-hmm. And
I
Tom
listened
York
to that
hated
as a
that
kid
song.
when I was in like high school or something like that. I can't remember whenever
Mm-hmm.
that came out. I remember being like, wow, this is a cool song. Um, Never heard another song from them on the radio. Like they were never a radio hit band, you know. And I remember one time they were on Saturday Night Live, and I watched it, and I was like, "This is like the worst band I've ever seen in my life." I remember watching it, going, I don't. How is this a band?" And then when I heard everybody loved them, I was like, I feel like I was like in a Twilight Zone. Like I don't get this. Like this is one of those things, you know.
Mm. I
Everybody
hear
loves
you.
it, and you don't get it, and
Yeah, I
that's
wouldn't say I'm a diehard Radiohead fan, but I do appreciate them to an extent. I do respect them. I know Tom York. I know he built his guitar as well, kind of influenced by Queen a bit. So
hmm.
so yeah.
Is there like
Um,
a electronic style or something? I don't know how to describe their style. It's
yeah, because like you said, Creep was their biggest hit, and I know Tom York hated that. Like
yeah.
he
Oh, he
hated
didn't
that
play it for
fact.
years. He wouldn't play that song.
Yeah, because he wanted to be more because he was definitely more of an art. He was like an art person, so he
Yeah,
wanted to be more experimental. He wanted
yeah.
to push boundaries. So that's pretty much why as the albums progressed, the albums got a bit more denser. Definitely a lot harder to get into, I will say.
They're kind of this indie, yeah, art band that doesn't write catchy music that doesn't catch your interest to me, but
Yeah,
there's a big fan base there for
yeah,
him.
totally. Yeah, totally. Okay, and Mike says Cardi B and Lizzo. I agree on the
I
Cardi B one.
I wouldn't listen to their music for anything.
Yeah, yeah, Cardi B. Oh man, gosh, she's annoying.
She was everywhere there for I don't know,
Oh
maybe
my god, yeah.
I feel like everything was Cardi B this, Cardi B that, and I was like, I Lizzo, I just her personality just can't stand. But um, it's funny, I because I don't know modern music very well, and
Same.
yeah, I'm just totally lost, and especially like hip hop music, I just don't know hip hop R&B scene. I just know nothing about,
Mm.
and so I at the Oscars a couple years ago, maybe here, the movie Encanto.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It had a had
Oh my god, yeah, you remind me. Yeah, that was horrible.
oh the Oscar ceremony or what?
Uh, both.
Well, I was watching the Oscar ceremony, and there's a song that I really love off of Encanto.
Yeah,
You don't we
yeah, I
don't talk
remember
about
that.
Bruno.
Mm-hmm.
Great song. Didn't get
Yeah.
nominated for best song. It was retarded. I'm sorry, I can't say that word. It's stupid. Um, they nominated another song, which was like in Spanish, and you know, okay song, but it's not. We don't talk about Bruno. But
Mm-hmm.
then they sing "We Don't Talk About Bruno" during the telecast, whatever, because it was such a popular song.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we gotta sing the song, even though it wasn't nominated. And they're singing it, and then this girl starts rapping, which is
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
song. Um, and I had no idea. I think it might have been like Meg Stallion. Was
Megan the
it?
Stallion. Megan the Stallion.
I think it might have been. I can't remember because I remember she showed up and she started rapping. And I remember I was there with me, my dad, I think, and my sister or something like that, and my older sister, and who don't know nothing about, and I was like, is that Cardi B? And then I think my sister, my dad, we all three guessed three different artists, and we all three were wrong, because just to show you how we're just a very uptight white family. So of course we don't know anything about Meg the Stallion, I think. And then later I heard this Meg the Stallion. I'm like, who's that? And like, I'm just so lost. Like, other people probably knew who she was, and me and my family are like, I have no idea who this person is.
Gotcha. Yeah. But
Sorry,
yeah,
that's a long story.
No, you're fine. Yeah, that performance, man. Even people my age were cringing at that. Yeah. So that aside, let's keep going. There's a couple more comments here. We have Zeb here. Hello. The new U2 single is their best work since 1994.
Oh,
interesting. Oh, I guess. I haven't heard. I didn't know they released a new single.
Okay.
Might check that out. Let's see. Because yeah, I only have up to Uptown Baby. That's all I stopped at.
Yeah.
And then like Mike agrees with you. Radiohead sucks. So at least you can agree on some music stuff.
Good. I'm glad we agree on that.
Yeah.
We don't agree on the Beatles, but we agree on that one.
Okay, and Zeb says Creep was stolen from the Hollies. If you look up credits nowadays, composers were many.
Are they talking about the air that I breathe?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know the whole story of the whole Creep thing.
I kind of remember some kind of story of that song had a similar sound to another song. I think that might have been it, but
yeah, I don't know. Radiohead is okay. I have them all on CD. Kid A and I can't read. And Maniac maybe. Hail to the Thief are all masterpieces. Okay, so I haven't heard any of those yet. So maybe I'll give those a listen at some point. All right, we're all caught up there. So now let's keep on moving. We're still on Tom CDs, so we have 2 more to go.
I know that was a bit of a tangent, but
yeah, that's fine. It makes these interesting. All right, so next up we have for number 2 we have Argent. Wouldn't it be funny if someone said agent instead of Argent?
Yeah, it would be funny. Yeah,
it would be funny. I know I sure wouldn't. Anyhow, moving on. So Argent. So obviously, if the name didn't click, this is Rod Argent's band that he formed after the Zombies broke up. So this is, of course, this is just the greatest hits. I wouldn't say they were. I mean, greatest hits with quotation marks, because they weren't really
had a hit.
Yeah, they didn't really have a giant hit or anything, but they were kind of like it. They were kind of a thing for a bit. I think people dug them for a little bit. Yeah. Definitely very rock, a lot more rock focused. A little bit of progressive rock. I wouldn't say they're a straight up progressive rock band, but they at some points they would kind of do progressive rock trademark stuff. Let's see. Let me just look it up. First song, I think the first song was kind of their biggest biggest single, which is "Hold Your Head Up." That's a pretty good song. I enjoyed that. Pleasure, it's very good. God Gave Rock and Roll to You, kind of a bit corny with the title, but still kind of enjoyable. It's Only Money, Thunder and Lightning, Tragedy, and this great hits actually closes out with a live song. It actually closes out with a live version of Time of the Season. So they extended a little bit. They extended to 6 minutes instead of, I think the original was like 2.5 or 3 minutes or something like that. Yeah. So not too long. It's not like they extended it to 20 minutes or something like that. So they kind of jam a bit more on this version, but it's very enjoyable. They do play the song how you remember it for the most part. Yeah, very solid stuff. Pretty good. So yeah, if you like Rod Argent, maybe give it a try.
Does it have any of a zombie feel to it, or?
No, not really. I mean, sometimes you definitely hear a lot of keyboards, because of course Rod Argent was a keyboardist, right?
He might have been.
Might have been, yeah, maybe.
One of them.
yeah, maybe. So there's definitely a lot of keyboards. So in that regard, it definitely does have a zombies feel. But in terms of the composition, for the most part, it's kind of not so much like a Zombies. Definitely doesn't sound psychedelic or anything, or something you hear in the 60s. Definitely definitely a more 70s sounding type of
Okay. Okay.
band. All right. Then before I get back to the chat, get to the last one Tom sent, and this surprised me. I didn't expect this one to be the number one.
Is it Young Cannibals? Whatever.
Fine
No.
Young
Yeah,
Cannibals.
it is about Young Cannibals. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you haven't talked about it yet. So.
Yes. So I had never heard of this band. So when I
Yeah,
read
your
this,
reaction to it was hilarious.
yes, I read the title. I was like, "What the heck is this?
You're
Is
like,
this a
what the
punk?"
heck is this? And I'm thinking, oh, I know that band. Like, it was a
Yeah.
pop band or whatever.
Right. So yeah, when you
It's
first
a
read
weird
it,
name. I give you that.
when you read their name, you think it's supposed to be like a punk band or something like
Yeah,
that, because
yeah.
this sounds like a
It
punk band.
is a crazy
But
name.
no, it's the exact opposite of that. And I was pleasantly surprised. I really
Okay.
enjoyed this stuff. But yeah, like you said, it's definitely a more pop oriented band.
Yeah.
Bit of a new wave. But also it's kind of harkening back to the sound of like early Motown in a sense. And really comes down to the lead singer, who has a very old timey Motown sound to him.
Yeah.
And
It's
that,
kind of a high voice, at least from what I've heard.
yeah,
Tenor
because
voice. I don't know what you want to call
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I really enjoyed his voice throughout
it. Cool.
the whole album. Very, and of course they were known for their big hit "She Drives Me Crazy."
Yeah, they had that one hit that I
Yeah,
know.
that it was a giant. It was their biggest hit, and I'm gonna be honest, I've been playing that song for this whole week. It's
Okay.
been stuck in my head,
I like
and
that song.
yeah,
Good.
it's a great song. It's a great pop song, and I
Drives
love, and
me crazy.
yeah, just the chorus is just so catchy, and I really love the verses where he's in more of his falsetto.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, really great stuff. And the rest of the album's very good as well.
Okay.
This album did have another hit. It was called "Good Thing,"
Okay.
and I enjoyed that song too. I'm not the man I used to be. I'm not satisfied. It's a really good one. I think another one of my favorites on this album. Tell me what. Don't look back. It's okay. Ever fallen in love. So yeah, probably the biggest surprise out of this whole set. So I recommend this one if you're into like 80s kind of poppy new wave type of sound. All right, let's go back to the chat. Okay, I read that one here. Zeb, but I prefer Flaming Lips when it comes to newer bands. I've heard of the Flaming Lips. I haven't heard anything by
Sounds
them.
yeah.
Yeah. Argent Nexus, a prog masterpiece. I'm assuming that's an album. Nexus. Yeah, by
Okay.
Argent. Okay, another agent altogether now. I remember buying cheap on LP, not nearly as good as Nexus. So I guess another album by Argent.
Gosh, Zeb, you know a lot about music.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah. Yeah. And shout out to Zeb. He actually did send me something. But I believe so Zeb, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you're from Norway, so it's gonna take a while to
Norway.
get here.
Wow.
So yeah, so
North.
I'll make sure to make a video when that comes around. Okay, we have Irish Fling. Hello. You should try. Oh yeah, they did a cover of Suspicious Minds, which was
The
also
Elvis song?
yeah, I think the Elvis song.
Oh, that's a good song.
Yeah. Then Zeb, I'm old. that explains it. Have patience. I am patient. I am patient. So yeah. All right. So that's the end of that category. Now we have the big stretch. These are all the ones that were not given to me. These are the ones I bought with my own money.
By the way, I was looking at like YouTube, some I don't know, and a video came on my feed. It was like a video came up of yours, I think, and it was like, and you were talking about how you got 400 CDs. That was the video. Was you?
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to comment on it, like 400 CDs. That's like chump change. Like,
oh yeah, man.
I was like, I can
flies.
imagine. Like, oh, look at me! I got 400 CDs, and I'm thinking future self, like, yeah, more than twice that now.
Yeah, time flies. All right, so
he did look a little bit younger. I was like,
a little bit, tiny bit. Probably, I don't think I had a beard. I think, well, maybe a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, without the beard, you look probably quite a
Yeah.
bit younger.
Yeah. All right. So this is the stack of the
Oh,
ones
wow.
I bought.
Nice.
So yeah.
Wow, you
Okay.
stacked them so they don't fall over. That's
Yeah. Not too bad. All right. So I guess we'll talk about this top layer because all these are kind of like non-jewel cases.
uh-huh. Okay.
So
Don't stack as
first,
well.
yeah. So first up, we have another one. So this is pretty much the exact same company who made the Shaka Khan one, and this is another one I got. We have the Doobie Brothers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could do that, but no, it's not going to let me. But this is actually volume 2. I actually have volume 1. That's right here. So this actually has 5 more of their albums. So thing about the volume 1, it skips their debut album because their debut didn't do that well, but on this one it actually does include it. So here's their debut, just called Doobie Brothers. Pretty plain album cover, it's just them on the cover. So yeah, this is them very early on. Very solid debut. By the way, do you have any thoughts on Doobie Brothers, Jason?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I get Doobie Brothers and Almond Brothers mixed up because
Oh, gotcha. Because they have brother in the name.
I haven't deep dived into either band. There are 2 bands on my list of bands I want to do deep dives on because I don't really know much about them. So I'm getting okay. No, okay, yeah, no. Almond Brothers, they're more they have 2 of the greatest guitar players like on their band. I think
Yeah, they have Dwayne Allman, part of
Dwayne.
it.
I
Yeah.
remember I watched like a video like the best guitar players, and like 2 of them were like on the Allman Brothers band. I was like, holy cow! Like, so as I'm trying to think in my mind, like, okay, that was that. Doobie Brothers. I know the name. I know if you name the song, I'll be like, oh yeah, I know that song. But
Mm-hmm.
I like I said, I need to. I really want to get into them though at some point.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy the Doobie Brothers a bit more than the Allman Brothers.
Okay.
Especially, yeah, the Allman Brothers are known for jamming a lot,
Okay.
long jams.
Okay. Yeah.
So the Doobie Brothers, they keep it short though. They don't really jam that much.
Does one
Be-
do like Spirit in the Sky or something or no?
not,
No.
not that I'm aware of. I could
I'm
be
trying to think
wrong
they're
on that.
in my head. China Grove. Who does that?
Oh yeah, China Grove. That's Doobie Brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So China
Sorry.
Grove, it was pretty big. Blackwater Park, I think that was called. They also have the Michael McDonald period where you have What a Fool Believes, which we'll get to later. But anyway, solid debut, a bit more acoustic heavy than what they would do. Of course, later on they would bring in more guitar work. But again, solid stuff. But this is definitely haven't quite found that sound yet. Then we're gonna skip a lot. So we're gonna skip all the way to 1977 with the next one it includes. This is part of the Michael McDonald period. This is Living on the Front Line. Solid album. I think I'm starting to realize in terms of which era I prefer. I think I prefer the early stuff than the Michael McDonald period. Not to say the Michael McDonald period is bad. It's just that I don't know. I kind of like the more rock side of them. When Michael McDonald joined, it was definitely more soul, more R&B
I say that name
feel.
sounds familiar. Did he go solo or something? Or
Yeah, he did go solo.
okay.
Yeah, and he also worked with Steely Dan as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he did the backing vocals on Peg.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
solid album, but again, probably some okay stuff.
They
And now
mostly
this out,
70s. Did they go in the 80s and all that or
yeah, they did. They were mainly a
okay.
70s band, but then they
Okay.
also did some stuff in the 80s.
Okay.
Um, this album was pretty big for them. This is Minute by Minute. Of course, there's Michael McDonald in the center there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this album did huge. I think this song won a Grammy. I think one of the songs won a Grammy as well. Here to Love You, and of course this had the massive hit What a Fool Believes. Great song. Then you have the title track, which is very good. Enjoy that one. Don't Stop to Watch the Wheels. Open Your Eyes. You Never Change. How Do the Fools Survive? Probably my favorite of this 5. Now we get to this one. This one is called One Step Closer. So 1980. And the thing about this one is that this is probably my least favorite of this whole pack because it's kind of the songs don't really do much for me. Not really that memorable. It's kind of just okay. Now the thing is that after this album, the band would break up for a period of time. They would rejoin in the 90s. But the thing about this collection is that it doesn't include anything else, any other studio album past this. So for the fifth album it actually includes a live album. This is their farewell tour at the time.
At the time.
Yeah, at the time. Because it's called Farewell Tour. That's the title of this album. That didn't age well.
Gosh,
But
everybody's farewell tours. It seems like Elton John, Eagles. They all have these.
I know Aerosmith are also doing one.
They're doing one now, aren't they?
Yeah. Of course, that one's kind of a little rocky start.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah. So solid live album. Again, not the hugest live album fan, but this has all the songs.
I'll be honest. Every time I go through a discography and it's like live album, it's my least favorite in the group.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same.
I hate to say that.
Yeah. Again, there's some exceptions, but yeah, this one's definitely not one of them. Again, it has all the songs you want to hear by them. You have Take You to the Street, Minute by Minute, Listen to the Music, What a Fool Believes, Blackwater, like I mentioned earlier, China Grove. But yeah, solid. It's solid, but of course, not really something I would go back to often. All right, so that is the Doobie Brothers collection.
Like, I just listened to this Birds album, Untitled.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was terrible. I was just...
Okay, well, we'll get to that later.
There's just so many stuff that I was like, I don't like any of this live stuff.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
They're good songs. There's Mr. Tambourine Man.
Yeah, we'll get to that one later.
Oh, okay, sorry.
All right, we're still in the pack thing. Next, we have the Mamas and the Papas.
Oh, yeah.
And this one's just called Mamas and the Papas. So this is their second studio album. It came out in 1966, so the same year as their debut. And yeah, this is it's funny. In the months from their debut to this album, the band was already in turmoil. So lots, because there's a lot of love. There's kind of a weird love rectangle, shall we say, in this band.
Yeah.
And that was already starting to take its toll. I know there's a very funny story with this album cover, is that of course you have the band right there, but there was actually a time where the Michelle Phillips, John Phillips would fire her from the band, and so they actually reshot the album cover with a different singer, and they kind of just photoshopped her into the cover. You can find pictures of it, but you can probably find old vinyl copies of it, but it's very rare. But yeah, kind of an interesting story. But like I said, also drugs was also a big deal at this point too, so that was also taking its toll as well on them. But for an album, I almost don't want to go too in depth, because I know me and Nick are going to do our Mamas and Papas series soon. So I don't want to go too in depth. But that's coming. So I just wanted to have it just for the review. Just so I have it there. I'm probably not going to be able to get every album by the time we finish the series, but as we have more than one.
Yeah, all right. Good group. I that's definitely a group I want to get into at some point.
Yeah, it's very short discography, only 5 albums.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going through Rolling Stones, and there's like 24
albums.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this album's never gonna end.
Yeah. Don't do the Beach Boys anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, Beach Boys, Bob Dylan, I'm kind of putting that on the back burner for them.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the chat here. So Irish responds to Zeb's comment when he says he's old, and he says, "Me too. I'm very old." Yeah. Hey Zeb. Oh, oh, sorry, you left for a sec.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
You must anyway. You must have heard the Doobie track "Without Love."
Uh,
I'm sure I've heard it. I'm sure I've heard of it, but I don't know. I probably have to hear that song again. Anyhow, when did Skunk Baxter leave the Doobies? Hmm, I I can't remember. I want to say after they broke up for that period of time. But yeah,
Skunk Baxter. What a name.
yeah, that was the guitar player who was also in Steely Dan. He was actually
Oh,
on the debut.
oh, really?
Yeah, he played. He was the one of the guitar players on the debut.
Okay. I don't remember that name, but
Yeah, 79. He says Doobies died with Skunk Baxter.
okay.
Guess he didn't like that period of Doobie Brothers. All right. Hey, we're all caught up. Next up, not sure if you we have the band's called Funkadelic, and this is their album
Okay.
Maggot Brain.
Maggot Brain.
Maggot Brain. So you have this woman's head out coming out of the dirt, and on the back,
Okay. Nice.
yeah. So they are a funk they are a funk band
I hope so.
from the 70s, and this was led by George Clinton, not the politician, but the musician.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh, he's the big funk guy. Yeah.
yeah, big funk guy. And I'm gonna say, very great album. Very enjoyed this one. Of course, this album is mainly known for its title track, which is mainly instrumental, but it's this 10-minute guitar solo. But yeah, it's this big guitar solo. It's kind of very Jimi Hendrix influence because the guitar player was very much inspired by Jimi Hendrix, and of course, this was kind of like their tribute to him after he passed away. And it's also kind of a tribute to the loss, to the death of the hippie movements. Peace and love was basically non-existent anymore, and so you can definitely hear all that emotion. Listen to the guitar, how it's produced. It's pretty stripped back. When I did my research, the whole band was playing on the song, but George Clinton decided to pull it back and let the guitar be the main focus, and just really sell the emotions. So yeah, definitely a good guitar solo. Very underrated, I think. See, and the whole rest of the album is very good. It kind of goes back to your not typical, but your usual funk, early 70s funky R&B sort of sound. Great playing all around, very great bass playing, and the guitar playing even throughout the album is very good as well. Um, there's not that many vocals, but definitely when the vocals do hit, it definitely is a nice surprise. But yeah, really good album. All right, next we actually have a modern album. I know, what a shock.
Modern. Okay.
Yeah, well, modern. This came out
What's
2000.
modern?
Yeah, this came out in 2011. So
Uh,
yes, yeah, we have Making Mirrors by Gautier.
oh, Gautier. Okay.
Yeah. So of course, many of us know
Yeah.
Gautier for that
I know
big
one song.
song, that one song.
I love that song though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My brother is so burnt out by the song,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
because my grandma would play that song a lot on the
Oh, really?
radio. Yeah, and so he got pretty burnt out, but I
Uh,
still love the song. So,
yes. So
and
good.
of course, it won a Grammy, of
Yeah.
course, and
Good.
and and of course, Prince gave the award, presented the award, and he
Oh,
even
wow.
says, yeah, when he saw it, he was like, "Oh, I love this song." And when Prince loves your song, you know you did good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So so yeah, and here in America, he's kind of a one-hit wonder. But I believe he's from New Zealand originally, and
Okay.
he's actually pretty big over there in
Okay.
his home country. So yeah, so not quite a one-hit wonder technically. But yeah, the big song aside, I really enjoyed this album as well. Definitely, the rest of the album is definitely not as poppy as somebody that I used to know. But there's still some great ideas. Very indie pop sort of sound. Um, See, Easy Way Out's pretty cool. Eyes Wide Open, I Feel Better, In Your Light's pretty good. State of the Art, Give Me a Chance, Save Me, just to name a few songs on here. And throughout the whole album, his vocals are very good. Like his big hits, like you can definitely tell he has a good voice, but listening a whole album, like yeah, he's pretty talented. He definitely has a great voice, and he can definitely knows how to write a good melody. So I suggest I recommend this one. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, I can even tell from the hit song. It's kind of he has an unusual style. To me, it felt like an unusual style. Just in
Yeah,
that one song with the
right.
back, the bum, there's all these like different sound effects like in it,
Mm-hmm.
but it works so well in that song.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I love what he does in that song. But I'd be
yeah,
interested in more of him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next up. All right, we're gonna go into some jazz now. A full blown jazz. Where is it? I have it here somewhere. Okay. Sadly, I didn't get a chance to look up how to actually pronounce it because it has that big word on it that I can't pronounce. Journey in Sachi Dana Nada, whatever that one. So this is by Alice Coltrane, and I did
Culture.
an unboxing video on this one. The same one where I unboxed the 1000 CD, which we'll get to later. But yeah, Alice Coltrane, she is the widow of John Coltrane,
Okay.
the big jazz guy. And
Yeah.
of course, by this point, John Coltrane had already passed away, and so by this point, she um, did her own thing. She was actually a very accomplished jazz
Oh,
musician herself. And the reason why I got this album was because I know on Canadian Stud Muffin channel, Larry Graves, him and Glenn Kelly from the Bass Bid does a series where they exchange CDs, and this album was one of them. And I think
okay.
Glenn got the one, and he actually said he really enjoyed this one. So I was like, cool, let's give it a go. And so yeah, I for a jazz album, very nice stuff. If you're into jazz, I really suggest give this one a listen. Some great playing all around. Has a very spiritual vibe to it because this whole album was kind of a tribute to John in a sense because she was going more of a spiritual direction, dealing with loss and stuff like that. So you can definitely feel the emotion. There's even a song called "Something About John Coltrane," so that tells you that
Pretty
she
on the
definitely
nose.
had him on her mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cool album. Some good stuff. Let's see. Zeb says, great Alice Coltrane album, but not as good as Lord of Lords.
Hmm.
Or can't read, I don't know how to pronounce that one, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah, I might check out more of her at some point.
Hmm.
Right. Next, we are going to 1981 with oh, the booklet fell out. Next up, we have "Want That Sucker" by Sparks. Great album cover, by the way.
Oh, I love that album.
Yes. So yeah, have you heard of Sparks before,
No,
Jason?
no, never heard of them.
Yeah. So basically, for those who don't know, Sparks mainly consist of two brothers, and there they are on the back. You have Ron Mayle and his younger brother Russell. So Ron usually does the writing, and Russell is the lead singer. So this is 1981. So definitely, they're a very interesting band. They're very unusual. Kind of similar. They're kind of quirky as well. They definitely have a quirky nature to them. Mainly comes down to Russell's vocals, who is very. Oh, no wonder. Sorry, I'm getting distracted, but very unusual vocals. He has a very high type of voice, which could be a turnoff for some people. I've seen some
Mm-hmm.
people enjoy his very high singing, but some people find it annoying.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely took me a bit to get used to his style, but this album here was kind of helps, especially early on because I have heard parts of this album years ago, but I never listened to the whole album until recently. And yeah, very good album. They've gone through many sort of eras where they changed their sound very frequently. This is kind of when they were more new wave type of sound. That new wave pop rock. which I enjoy. Tips for Teens, which starts it off. Funny Face, Where's My Girl, I Married a Martian is another song by them.
I married a
Um,
Martian.
yes, they also have a kind of a slight comedic edge to
That's
them.
cool. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. Don't Shoot Me, Wacky Woman. Yeah, very very fun album. They're a pretty fun band. Um, I can't say they're for everybody, but yeah, they're very interesting. They're definitely worth checking out. The reason why before I continue, the reason why I was so distracted is because I remember that this particular CD has the one thing I don't like, which is there's nothing to hold the booklet.
My gosh.
Yep, so that's 2 now that I own. All right, I digress. Okay, all right, now this one I know Jason's familiar with.
Okay.
We have Led Zeppelin 3.
Okay, good.
Yeah. All right, so I mean, we've talked about this album before on Adam's channel. We did the whole Led Zeppelin
Yeah,
live
yeah.
stream. We ranked the albums.
Mm-hmm.
I had it pretty low because again, I didn't have much history with this album. So definitely once I bought it, I gave it another listen, and it's definitely growing in stature for me. It's growing in stature. Don't know where it would rank now, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting used to it more. And what's cool about this,
It was number 4 or 5 for me on my list.
yeah, I think you and Adam had a little bit higher than me.
Yeah, it was kind of in the middle, but really good. Like it's definitely in my good, list of albums. I think it's
Mm,
definitely one I'd like to get at some point.
yeah.
I mean, Immigrant Song, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
right, is amazing.
Right.
And I can't remember what else is on it. I just remember I liked it.
Yeah. So let me just see. So Immigrant Song, Friends, Celebration Day, Since I've Been Loving You, Gallows Pole, Tangerine, That's the Way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course you have Hats Off to Roy Harper, which
Yeah.
exists. It's there.
Yeah, I don't think it's the worst song on the album. Maybe the second worst. Seemed like there was another song I remember I didn't like.
Mm,
I didn't really like on the album. So
gotcha. Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, very good album. And what's cool about the CD is actually replicates the record where it has that
Oh, okay.
is that little thing
Oh,
that you can change it.
that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, very nice. So yeah, almost there. I think I only need Presents left, and then I'll have the whole Led Zeppelin
Oh,
catalog.
okay.
I'm not in a rush for Presents though, but
I know.
some
Right.
point I'll get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, next one. Let's see, let me just pull it up real quick. We have The Cure. This is their 90s album. 92 this came out. This one's simply called Wish.
Wish.
Yes, so again, slowly dipping my toes into The Cure a bit more. I've enjoyed what I've heard so far. There's still a band I need to listen to more often because, they're kind of this gothic rock, alternative kind of new wave band. It definitely there's a lot to digest. But again, I've enjoyed what I've heard. This album has the big hit on here called "Friday I'm in Love,"
Yeah.
which is
Good
which
song.
was which is a great song. Yeah, and the other songs on here are pretty good. Some standouts is "Open," "High," "From the Edge of the Deep Green Sea," "Windy Time," "Trust," "Cut," "To Wish Impossible Things." Um, yeah, another very good album. Again, just need more time with it because their albums are pretty long too, so that also adds to the I need to digest them more.
I
But
can't
yeah,
get into their albums, The Cure. I tried to listen to some albums and it just doesn't do it for me. Except Friday I'm in Love is a really good song.
mm-hmm,
They have another really good song called Mint Car that it's probably my favorite of theirs.
mm-hmm.
And I can't remember if they have anything else, but I know there's like 2 songs I really like out of them. And then everything else, I don't know. I can't even describe. I just
Mm.
never got into them.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to.
Yeah, I hear. Yes, I totally hear what you're saying. I'm kind of in the middle, I would say. I don't love them, but I like them. That's all I'll say. I just like them.
because the most of their music isn't really like radio friendly type songs. Like Friday I'm in Love's like one that, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, that was a big hit.
it's one of the first
Like
few.
they could write they can write a big pop song if
Yeah,
they wanted
yeah,
to.
exactly. That's what I'm
Mhm.
thinking. Like they just don't write a lot of commercial type song. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So
Weird
yeah,
lead singer kind of, but I mean,
yeah,
he's,
Robert Smith. Robert Smith.
I mean, he's got a weird look to him, but it's
Yeah, definitely
gothic.
has
But
very
oh.
gothic. Still rocking that look today.
Yeah, yeah, and he looks older. Yeah, I've
and
definitely see his
bigger too.
age.
Yeah, a bit bigger too, of course.
Yeah, he's a bit more puffier.
All right. Okay. I'll get through this one, then we'll go back to chat. Okay. Next up, we have now this is a live album. This is called Before the Dawn, and this is by Kate Bush.
Oh, okay,
So of course I'm going to be very biased, and I'm going to say I love this thing.
mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this was recorded in 2016, and this was during a small tour she did in England, because this was actually a pretty big deal because she normally never tours. Like, she's never been a fan of touring. She only toured once, and that was in 1979. So this is kind of her first major tour in decades. And so the show got lots of good reviews. Sadly, I was not a fan at the time, so I didn't see it. And I don't live in England, so I would have loved to see it. You can see some footage on YouTube, but I'm like, oh, I wish I was there.
Is Kate Bush still singing? Or I don't.
Kind of. She's kind of dormant right now.
I just never hear from her. I guess
Yeah,
so.
because her last album was in 2011, so
Okay.
keeping a low profile at right
Okay.
now. Yeah, but I know she recently got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so maybe she'll come out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe she'll come out.
This next one, or did she?
Yeah,
The last?
this year she is.
So she should show up and
Hopefully.
sing and stuff.
Yeah, I hope she does.
Yeah, she should. I hope so.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, there's 3 discs to this thing. So disc one is just a bunch of standalone songs, just some singles. Of course, you have Running Up That Hill, of course. Some other songs, Hounds of Love, Top of the City, King of the Mountain, some really great songs. Pretty much taps into pretty much most of her career. Thinking about, of course, by 2016, she definitely doesn't have that high registered voice that she had early on. It's definitely much more matured, but again, she still sounds great in my opinion. Disc 2 plays the entirety of side 2 of Hounds of Love, which I have behind me back there. Yeah, so because the side 2 of Hounds of Love is this whole concept piece, so she plays the entirety of it, and great.
Oh, wow.
Love it. And then disc 3 is another conceptual piece, which was on her 2005 release, Ariel. So Ariel had two discs to it, and disc 3 of this is basically the second disc of that album.
Wow.
Don't know if that made sense, but regardless, very great stuff still. So yeah, overall, like, again, I'm biased, so of course I'm gonna say this is great because I love Kate Bush to death. And this is somebody who's not a fan of live albums, but for Kate Bush, I'll make that exception. First of all, and also the packaging is really cool. So you open it up
here,
you have this artwork here, and then you open it up more. You have these
trees.
Yeah, and each one gets brighter as you go along, as dawn is rising.
What do you think of, like, when a band does like a whole album live? Like, who has done that? I know. I think with Quadrophenia, and maybe
Quadrophenia, Tommy, they've done.
Maybe Tommy, have they done that?
Yeah, they've done Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of cool. I kind of
find
when a band does a whole album, it's like, it's cool. It's like you're in the album.
Yeah, especially if it's their concept albums. I think that's even very cooler.
Yeah, it works good with concept albums. I mean, I'm sure not Led Zeppelin. Pink Floyd probably did that with their stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah, pretty much. The Wall, of course, they've when they toured the wall, they did the whole concept, of course.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea of just doing a whole album and just
Hmm.
a good album, do a whole
Yeah,
really good album.
yeah, I
I,
agree.
I used to listen. There's this Beatles tribute band that used to do. I used to go watch every once in a while when they came around, and they would do the whole side two of Abbey Roads or something like that. And I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, it's always cool when those bands do. Okay, yeah, a couple comments here. Let's see, which one did I not read yet? Okay, I think we left off here. Okay, that's more Alice Coltrane. Recommendations. Come on, pronounce it. I tried.
Patava?
I don't know. I think it's supposed to be a name of some Indian spiritual leader or something.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. Let's see. Named after the Egyptian god of craftsmen,
Okay,
and the means beloved in Arabic. Okay.
okay, it's Egyptian.
Never managed to get into Sparks, even if their later song "iPhone" was cool. It reminded me something of Devo on that tune. Interesting.
Oh,
Yeah, again, you can't really put Sparks in any category, honestly. And Zeb really loves Wish and says a masterpiece.
okay.
Okay. All right. So now we're not even halfway through. Okay, moving on. We have two by the same band. So first up, we have ABBA.
Oh,
I've shown one ABBA before in an unboxing video. Before we get to that one, I did buy another ABBA album, which we'll get to first. This one is just called ABBA, just a self-titled album. Of course, I've always loved ABBA, so yeah, this was
okay.
very nice. Of course, I'm gonna like this one. Of course, it has Mamma Mia, one of their big hits. Of course, other songs. SOS was another big song on here.
Big.
I do was kind of a minor hit, but I think many people like that one. A lot of deep cuts I also really enjoy. Hey Hey Helen's nice. Man in the Middle. Bang a Boomerang. I've been waiting for you. Solid album. So I think this is their second or third. I can't remember. Okay, and then the other ABBA album, I accidentally played the song. So forgive me if I jumped for a sec. So hopefully I don't do that again. Did you hear the music or no?
No, I
Okay.
didn't.
Oh, so it was just me. So I look crazy. Anyhow.
Yeah, I was just confused. I was like, "What's going on?"
Because I actually hit
Got a
play on one of
message
the
from
songs.
somebody in your earphone. Like,
Yeah. Anyhow, moving on. Here's the other ABBA album I bought. And that was Arrival.
I say, I hope Arrival because I know Nick really likes that.
Yeah,
That
it's a good album too. Of course, it has Dancing Queen. I mean, who has not heard Dancing Queen?
Yeah.
Yeah. And other big songs were Knowing Me, Knowing You, Money, Money, Money. And I don't think it was not included on the album, but it also, as a bonus track, it includes Fernando, which is another big song by them.
That was the Euro hit, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What's that called?
Eurovision?
Eurovision, the big, yeah.
Yeah, I know they also won for Waterloo. That was how they got big.
Oh, wait, maybe it was Waterloo I'm thinking of. They won for that.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Fernando was a big song, though. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, it was also very big for them. Again, the deep cuts were also very good as well. Starts out with When I Kissed the Teacher. Very scandalous song, but still.
That's a thing that happens today, yes.
Yeah, of course, totally. But yeah, that's a good song. It's
a good song.
Yeah, still a good song. It's still very upbeat, very catchy. That's the thing about ABBA. Even when their lyrics are very either depressing or very scandalous, still fun. My Life, My Love's also really good. That's Me. There's a song called Tiger's pretty good. And yeah, it's ABBA. For people who don't like ABBA, lighten up. Anyhow. All right. Okay, Zeb, Arrival and the album, the only ABBA albums I like, but hey, they are my neighbors.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, that's true. And even one of the female is Norwegian. All right, cool.
Have you ever looked at their last names? They're like
I'm not gonna pronounce them.
to pronounce.
Yeah. Most people just say their first names.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so yeah. Now we move on to another album. I know Jason's familiar with this one.
All right. Let's see.
The Animals.
The debut?
The debut.
Oh, okay, cool.
Right. So of course, I know Nick wants to do that tier list of all British Invasion debut albums. And of course, this album is one of them.
Yeah.
And I bought it, so that tells you something. I guess. But yeah, I really enjoyed this album. I pretty much enjoyed every song on here. Of course, it has the big hit, "House of the Rising Sun."
Yep.
Just a classic '60s song. I mean, Eric Burdon's vocals throughout the whole album is top notch. Just some really good stuff.
So good.
I could name my favorite songs, but again, that's the whole album. So, Jason, I know you've heard this album, so you want to give your 2 cents.
I thought it was a really good debut album. I was like really impressed with it when I was. I've been listening to all these British debut albums lately.
All right, I'm behind.
I've gone through like 20 of them or something. I don't know.
Wow.
And there's what 34 that
something like that
Nick wants us to go through.
I only have 8.
8, yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them are very just mundane, just cover songs and not that interesting. The Animals, yeah, I think Eric Burdon's voice really elevates the band, I think, even more. It opens up with if I remember right, it's the opening track as
House of the Rising Sun.
House of the Rising Sun. So you're like, all right, good start. And then I can't remember what else is on there, but I remember liking it quite a bit. But yeah.
Yeah. But yes, great debut. Really good one. All right. Here's one I know Jason's not gonna know. So I'm gonna be talking about most of this one. So next up we have bands called Anthrax. This is called Among the Living. So this is thrash metal at its finest.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to thrash metal, there's usually the big 4. You have Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax.
Okay.
And of the 4, Anthrax is usually put at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, they have their fans, but
where's Motorhead? Is that amongst the group or?
Nah, I wouldn't say they're thrash. They're more heavy metal. I think they're more heavy metal. Okay. They're not quite thrash.
Not quite thrash.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know that much about Anthrax, but I know they're part of the big 4, so might as well try and get the 4 because I have tons of Metallica, I have tons of Megadeth, I have one of Slayer, and now I have one of Anthrax. Yeah, I might say I think they're probably my 3rd favorite of the big 4. Metallica and Megadeth are going to be the top 2 as always, but I think I prefer Anthrax over Slayer. I think Slayer's a bit too. I mean, Slayer, they're definitely very extreme, way more than Anthrax. Because the thing is, Anthrax have their lead singer definitely has a more. It's not like too harsh. It definitely has a more brightness to it. I wouldn't say he's theatrical because he doesn't quite have a theatrical voice, but it definitely has a more appealing voice to like to the masses. Definitely not one of those like very harsh or very low or growly voice. It's very kind of high. It's actually kind of more very high for lead singer. And the only other note I know about this band is that the lead singer actually stole Freddie Mercury's like bottomless mic stand. So if you see live footage of Anthrax, he's also has that bottomless mic stand he's holding. So I don't know, you lose points for that, but anyhow. Yeah, only Freddie can rock that.
Yeah, it's like if somebody starts swinging the mic around or starts doing skills, I'll be like, that's the Who.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing?
And they can't, and of course the people doing the mic thing can't do it as good as Roger.
So good.
Yeah, but overall, really enjoyed this album. If you're into metal, definitely a good one, I think. And to many metal heads, people say this is probably Anthrax's best album. And I haven't heard that much, but It's pretty. They have a pretty high bar now.
Hmm.
All right, next, David Bowie. We have his third studio album. This is called "The Man Who Sold the World." Of course, Nirvana would make this song even bigger in the '90s, but here this is the original, 1970. This is a very interesting album. Definitely has a much because obviously David Bowie is known for his glam period. But here it's definitely a bit more blues heavy than the normal. And dare I say, some of the songs sound very similar to like something you hear from Black Sabbath almost. So very interesting stuff. Of course, very
Wow.
interesting album cover too. You have David right there in the dress.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. That was the thing in England. But yeah, very good, a very strong album, I think. Probably as a Bowie fan, I think this one's pretty underrated. Starts out great with The Width of a Circle, All the Madmen, Black Country Rock's really cool. Running Gun Blues, She Shook Me Cold. Of course, I already mentioned the title track. But yeah, good stuff. I'm trying to find all the C's are just piling up there. It's looking it's a mess up there.
Yeah.
All right, and we kind of next up we kind of hinted at this one earlier, but we got the Untitled
What,
by
you
the
got the?
Birds.
Oh my
I got
god.
it.
Oh man.
So I know your thoughts on it, but
I gave my thoughts already.
yeah, but of course, me and Nick did a review on this album, so
Yeah.
obviously you can go ahead and check out that video. Townsend 909 is the name of the channel. I guess I'll briefly recap it, but I personally enjoyed this album. Live stuff's pretty cool. And do you like any of the studio stuff?
Um. Yeah, I forget what I wrote down. Is my favorite song. There was like two decent songs on the studio part. I'm forgetting what they are at the moment, but
Okay.
uh,
But yeah, some of my favorites on the album were Chestnut Mare.
yeah,
But
that was one
yeah,
I like.
yeah, that was a good one, which was part of a whole play Roger McGuinn had in his head, which never came to fruition. But he just kept the songs for Birds albums. And honestly, those songs are kind of the strongest songs on the album. I think I liked Truck Stop Girl. I liked Yesterday's Train, Just a Season. You look a lot. You all look alike. I think I mean, personally, I think it's a solid album.
Uh,
Probably their last really good album, in my opinion. I mean,
mm.
their reunion albums is pretty good too, but in terms of the original run, um, yeah, solid album. I think it's solid.
Yeah, like Sight 2 is just one song, right? It was
Side two, no, it's all just it's separate.
okay.
So yeah.
Because they had like a 15-minute version of 8
Oh
Miles
yeah. Oh
High.
yeah. You're right. They did. They do. That's on the live side.
Yeah.
I think the live side was side one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. Yeah, 8 miles high, 16 minutes.
16 minutes. Yeah, that was long. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
8
love
miles.
the bass playing on that.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's that.
Yeah.
All right, now let's talk about something I know Jason really loved.
Okay. Good.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Yes. All right.
Daylight again.
They let again.
So yeah, you can go ahead and give your thoughts on it first.
Uh, yeah, I think it's a really good album. If you like, I'm a really big fan of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Slash Young. One of my favorite groups of all time. And I mean, they had like 4 really good albums, I would say, and then it falls off. I don't know. I don't feel like they had that many albums really.
Not
Um,
much.
to be honest, it's hard because it's Crosby, Stills, Nash. Sometimes it's Young gets
I know
out.
it's so confusing.
I never know what to call them.
Hmm.
If I guess you can just put them all together as one, but
Yeah.
this is probably still the Nash, and yeah, I thought it was a really good album. I'm trying to think of what's on it. Is this the one with Southern
Yeah,
Cross?
Southern Cross. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite Crosby, Stills, Nash songs. That's an amazing song. Definitely in my top 10 like favorite Crosby, Stills, Nash songs. The harmonies are just absolutely amazing, of course. Um, I can't remember what else was on the album. I just remember I really liked it. I don't have it. That's one I need to get. But.
Yeah. Strange cover though. I don't know what the UFO is
There's
for.
UFOs, yeah.
Oh well. This looks nice. All right, so yeah, kind of bouncing off you. Yep, really enjoyed this album. A lot of good songs on here. Pretty much all the songs that stood out to me, like you already mentioned, Southern Cross, Turn Your Back on Love, Wasted on the Way.
On Way is a really good song.
Yeah,
yeah.
great one. Into the Darkness, Delta.
I like that.
Song for Susan, You Are Alive, Might As Well Have a Good Time. Yeah, really good stuff.
I usually love Natch's songs a lot of times on the album. That's always been my favorite.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same.
Graham Nash. I don't know. I just really love his voice. He has such a great voice, and yeah, and good. He does more pop ballads. I don't know what you want to call his type.
Yeah, he definitely has the more commercial sounding songs.
Yeah. Like I love like Just a Song Before I Go, or Our House back in the. So good, like those songs.
Yeah. All right. Next up, here's one Jason won't know, but I only just
everything is. Jason knows this. He doesn't know it. He likes it.
I just know you, man.
You know what I like.
Yeah. Let's see. I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay, I literally just listened to this morning. So next up, we have this band's called Epica. This is their album called The Divine Conspiracy. This came out in 2007. So this is a symphonic metal band. So symphonic metal is basically just taking metal but incorporating orchestra type of music into it. So there's tons of that in here. A lot of good orchestration throughout. They're Dutch, by the way. They're a Dutch band. So very cool. And they're called Epica, and it makes sense because the music is very epic sounding. Of course, when you have the orchestra, it's going to sound like that. Yeah. So very cool. So you have two vocalists. You have a male and a female singer. So the male provides the more heavy, definitely has that more aggressive sound. But then you have the female vocalist who definitely has a more operatic, more approachable, very, very gorgeous sounding. And so you have that duality. It's like the comparison that you often get is like Beauty and the Beast. You have the more harsh, the Beast side, then you have the Beauty side. And to many people, it complements really well. And I think it really complements really well here. Like most albums of this time period, very long though. It's an hour and 16 minutes. But it's a concept album. I can't remember the concept on right now, but I know there's a concept to this. But yeah, very cool stuff. It's heavy. The two vocalists sound really good together, and very enjoyable. Definitely one I need to give more time with.
You really like concept albums, I'm guessing.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I have quite a bit of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's some bad concept albums out there, but
I mean, I know The Wall's big on yours. And
yeah, I know The Wall's very big. It's probably my favorite.
Tommy or Quadrophenia, if those are big.
Yeah, those are big. But yeah, I do like a good concept album. I do want to get more.
I listen to concept albums, and I don't even know that it's a concept album until I read about it.
Right.
They're like, this was a concept album. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
I don't think about it, I guess. I was like, that's good music or it's not, or I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. All right. So next up, I must be crazy. We got another live album here.
Another one.
I know. I wonder if that says something. Anyhow, we have Genesis. So of course, this is Seconds Out is what it's called. When did this come out again? Let me check. See, I have it somewhere here. So where is it? So here it is. So 77 this came out. So this is their second official live album. They released one in 73, I believe, and that was when Peter Gabriel was still in the band. So when this album came out, Phil Collins is the lead singer by this point. I believe they were touring Wind and Wuthering, which was Phil's second album as lead vocalist. So this is a 2 CD pack, 8 songs on disc 1, 4 songs on disc 2. So pretty much has all the big songs that were very popular for them at that point. A lot of the Peter Gabriel stuff mainly. This was way before they would go pop. So of course the playing on here is really great. Phil sounds really good on here, really doing the Peter Gabriel stuff justice, I think. Yeah, I mean, of course you have great playing by Bill Bruford and Chester Thompson, who subbed in as drummers while Phil was out front. They do a really good job on the drums there. Yeah, not much else to say, but great, very good live album.
I just heard a song the other day that I really liked called Misunderstandings.
Oh yeah, that's from Duke. That's from 1980.
That's from Duke. Oh, yeah. Such a good song.
Oh yeah, that was actually my first Genesis song I heard.
Yeah, I somehow came across it on Spotify. Because Spotify, I put it on something, and then after it finishes whatever I put it on, it just starts playing random music.
God, yeah, I know. I hate
based
that.
on what they think I like, I guess.
Right, yeah,
that's what they do. Listen to, and then so some people come up I never heard, and I go, "That's pretty good. What is this?" But yeah, Misunderstandings came on. I was like, I need to listen to more Genesis because.
Yeah, I know you'll probably like the 80s stuff more. I don't, because the 70s stuff, I think it's a bit too wild for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so now we move on. Now I have these next 3 are by the same band. So let me just get them pulled up here. Let's see, where are they? So might as well reveal it now. So we have Green Day next. So get some Green Day. So we have Dookie here. I also bought Nimrod.
Yeah.
And I bought American.
Yeah.
I guess I'm slowly becoming a Green Day fan. I'm starting to realize because I really enjoyed
pretty much all 3. Like anniversary or something.
I think so, because I know they're gonna like next year. American Idiot's gonna be like 20 next year. I know I think Dookie came out is gonna be 30 as well.
30, yeah.
Wow. So yeah. So yeah, I pretty much enjoyed all 3 of these albums. Some good old pop punk, I guess, is what they're classified as. So we'll start with this one. Probably definitely the most raw, kind of the more punky sounding, more traditional punk sound. But still very good. Of course, this had a big hit on here, which was Basket Case. Great song. Burnout was great. Longview, Welcome to Paradise, Pulling Teeth, She, All by Myself. Just really great, great album.
Hits on that. Gosh.
Let me get to Nimrod, which was 97. Probably my least favorite of the 3, but still very enjoyable. Of course, this also had a massive hit with Good Riddance, Time of Our Lives, which was this very great acoustic.
Love that song. Yeah.
And the reason why I'm getting to Green Day is because my brother, he likes some Green Day as well. I mean, he's definitely not a music fan, like I mentioned before, but he definitely will play some Green Day. Like when he drives me to the bus stop for school, like we'll have the radio, and when Green Day comes on, he's like, don't change the channel or something like that. But yeah, so back to Nimrod. Nice Guys finished last, was very good. Hitching a Ride. Scattered All the Time. There's a song called Platypus, I Hate You, which is kind of interesting. Rejected. Solid album. And now we get to probably my favorite of the 3, and that is American Idiot, of course. Just
there's some change slightly, I feel like, at this point in their career.
Yeah, I think they're really starting to go more commercial sounding. I think
more pop commercial, and they added a guitar player to the band, if I remember.
Yeah, and what's interesting about this album though is that the songs blend into each other a lot. It's almost like one giant piece. But starts out with the title track. Great, starts out with that riff. Which is funny enough, I heard that riff before I heard the song, because I know there was a cartoon show called Johnny Test that actually ripped off the opening riff. So that was funny.
Have you heard the
Anyhow,
Weird Al version?
yes, I did. Canadian
Canadian.
idiot. Yep. So yeah, lots of idiots in the world. But anyhow, but of course, this has so far still my favorite Green Day song, and that is "Boulevard of Broken Dreams."
Man, really good.
Yeah, great song. Love this song a lot. Are we the waiting? Give me
That's a great song.
listens. She's a rebel. Let her bomb.
Good
Wake
one.
me up when September ends, which it already ended. So yeah.
Yeah, it did end.
Good timing there. What's your name? Yeah. I guess I'm a Green Day fan now. Probably have to get more at some point.
I started becoming a Green Day fan after that album came out, and I feel like that album, the 21st Century Breakdown, are to me the two best albums that I've heard from Green Day. And yeah, just the songwriting just seemed a little more mature, because I feel like the earlier stuff a little more immature style,
Yeah.
younger.
Exactly.
But something about it just felt like a fuller sound, just more. I don't know, just like they just added more to the. I don't know how to explain it. They just better songwriting, a better overall sound, and more poppy, I guess, which I like. I don't know. I really like what they're doing since American Idiot, in my opinion.
Yeah. We'll see. Definitely, like I said, I'll probably check out more. Maybe I'll get the whole catalog. Granted, they have a lot of albums, so that's gonna take a bit. All right, so got more chat here. So you have Irish. I like Graham Nash album from 93 called Wild Tales.
Yeah, it's one of solo albums.
Then we have talking about the Genesis live album, Last Genesis with Steve Hackett. They were never the same again. Yeah, because Steve was the guitar player, but he left afterward.
Yeah. Well, they had a lot of lineup changes, if I remember right, from my research on Genesis.
Yeah, they've had a good amount. Not as much as say, I don't know, like, I don't know. I had a band, but yeah.
The Birds.
Birds, yeah, they had tons.
I did research on them recently, and that's some of the craziest research I've ever done on a band.
Like Fleetwood Mac's another one that had a ton of lineup changes.
I don't know much about them, but okay.
Yeah, I know that one's a rabbit hole. All right.
Yeah, like I do research and I write on this notebook, and sometimes it'll take like front and back. Birds took like 3 pages of like notes. It's take 2 or 3 parts to do the Birds.
Yep. Yeah, doing research for that series was definitely something. All right, next up, we're going to 1975. This is a self-titled album, and the artist is named Ian Hunter, who of course is the founder and band leader of the band Mott the Hoople. So this is his first solo album. Very solid stuff. Again, if you like Mott the Hoople, you're probably going to enjoy this album. It of course, has Ian's kind of very, very kind of unique vocal style. It definitely has some. It's not quite Bob Dylan, but it's not. It sounds like Bob Dylan, but it doesn't. If that makes sense. He definitely has a Bob Dylan influence.
Okay.
Especially how he writes his lyrics. They're very kind of ambiguous, or kind of that you know what I'm trying to say. Like they're kind of hard to decipher, but
yeah.
But yeah, you can definitely tell he was definitely influenced by Dylan to an extent. Some good guitar work on here. Some standout songs like Once Bitten, Twice Shy. Who Do You Love? Boy. The Truth, The Whole Truth, nothing but the truth. I get so excited. Yeah, very solid album. I really enjoy this one. Another one I've heard a lot in the VC, but definitely wanted to check it out. Okay, next, back to the 60s. We have Crown of Creation by Jefferson Airplane.
Oh, Jefferson Airplane.
So this is 68, not 78. I'm going to say it. I think I might prefer this over Seristic Pillow, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I like the playing on here a bit more. And I think the male singers I think they sound a lot better here than they did on Surrealistic Pillows. Because that was like my big thing about that album was that I like Grace Slick. Like Grace Slick was by far the big standout, but I thought the male vocals were just okay. They sound a lot better here. I like the stuff they were doing here on this one. You have Lather, In Time, Triad, Star Trek. The title track is probably my favorite song on here. There's a song called Ice Cream Phoenix, which is, it's kind of psychedelic acid rock type of song, which, that shows. Yeah, solid album. Good stuff there.
I think they might have done drugs. I'm not sure, but
Maybe done. You might have seen a white rabbit or two. All right. Next up. All right, let's go back to some metal. I kind of briefly talked about them before, but we have Megadeth once again. Okay. This is their third studio album. So far, so good, so what? So this is 88. I think out of all the Megadeth albums I've listened to so far, this is probably my least favorite. I don't know, the songs just don't really hit as much as prior albums. I think there's only like 3 songs that stood out. And there's 8 songs here. Probably the best song on here is called In My Darkest Hour, which was a tribute to Cliff Burton, who was the Metallica bass player who died in a bus crash.
Yeah.
And of course, Dave Mustaine was in Metallica at one point, so he knew Cliff, and so so of course he wrote this song dedicated to him, and that's a great song. I like Mary Jane, Set the World on Fire, solid, but the rest of the album's kind of not as memorable, not as good as other albums I've heard. There's a cover on here of the Sex Pistols' Anarchy in the UK. I don't know. Megadeth weren't really good at making covers, in my opinion. So there's that. Okay. Let me just talk about this one and we'll get back to the chat. Okay, next we have Rainbow. And this is an album called Long Live Rock and Roll.
Another metal band, right?
Yeah, kind of heavy metal, kind of hard rock.
I think you talked about before.
Yeah, so this is Richie Blackmore's band after he left Deep Purple. And this is the last album with Ronnie James Dio before he would go solo. And yeah, I mean, if you enjoyed the previous 2 albums he did, then you're definitely gonna like this one. In top to bottom, I think was very good. You have songs like Gates of Babylon, which has this very Middle Eastern influence. Like the guitar, like Richie was very much influenced by a lot of different type of music. Like he was bringing in like Polynesian type of sounds, like Middle Eastern music to the sound, which definitely adds to the whole grandiose of the music here. Kill the King, Lady of the Lake, very good songs. Rainbow Eyes. Obviously, Ronnie James Dio was known for writing very fantasy-inspired lyrics. So, if you like fantasy, definitely give this a listen. Little fun fact about the album here. So, when you open it up, it replicates the original. It has the gatefold here, which has this poster. It says "Long Live Rock and Roll." But the thing is, this was not taken at a Rainbow show. You want to guess what show this was originally by?
Rolling Stones.
It's actually a Rush show.
Rush?
It's actually a Rush show they took this photo from, because I can actually pull up the original photo just to see how much they tampered with it. I turned dark for a sec. That's my computer screen light. But you can see the difference here. I think I have it saved somewhere. Just so somewhere here. I know I saved it somewhere. Did I not save it? Dang it. I thought I saved it. Oh well, but you can look it up. All they did was they just blacked out all the Rush merch. Because everyone was wearing Rush shirts, so of course they had to black them out. And the poster had, the poster, I think they were touring 2112 at the time, so it had the whole album cover on it. So they had to get rid of that.
Oh, because Could they got in trouble for that, or?
I don't know. I don't think they got in trouble for it. I don't think Rush would even care, honestly. But that's just a little fun fact. That was kind of funny. All right, let's see. Got a couple. We have Mickey here. Nimrod and American A are my favorite Green Day albums. Yeah, they're very good. Okay, yes. Oh yeah, yes. Another band with a lot of lineup changes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another rabbit hole there. All right, we're almost done actually. We only have one.
Yeah, I don't see any CDs anymore.
Yeah.
Once we get down there.
Yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more to go. So almost there. We're in the final stretch, I say. All right. I'm seeing the next one, and I'm actually scared to show it because I'm not sure if this is going to take the stream down. I mean, they're censoring themselves, so I guess not. And I've seen other people show this album cover. So let me just say the band. So the band's called Roxy Music, and this is their fourth album called Country Life. And here I'm going to show it, but here is the album cover. There you go.
All right.
All right. I bet this definitely got a lot of people's attention. But yeah, for Roxy Music, they're kind of like this art rock, kind of glam. Not really. I wouldn't say they're really glammy that much, but it's hard to describe them. It's rock music, but definitely not like your typical rock music. That's why I say mainly art rock. Of course, the big thing I really enjoyed about the album was the guitar work was very good throughout. The lead singer, Brian Ferry, definitely a very interesting vocalist. Definitely has a very unique quirk about him. I can't really pin down. Album cover aside, I still thought the album was very solid all the way through. I know Roxy Music has a pretty dedicated fan base, and so I'm not so yeah, I'm definitely interested to check out more from them. But yeah, very solid. Definitely will probably give this a listen at some point. But yeah, it's good stuff. Let's see. Next up, we have Santana up next. We have Caravanserai High. Hopefully I said that right this time. So this is their fourth album, and this is definitely the most dense, one of the more denser albums. It definitely has a jazz feel. Still has that Latin rock edge that was always prominent with Santana's music. Not as much lyrics. I think this is the first album where they didn't really have a big single off this. It was mainly a whole just instrument piece or something like that. But again, the playing is very good. Really enjoyed it. Of course, during this time, they actually had Neil Sean, who would later form Journey.
Yeah.
A few years later, which is pretty cool, and his playing is very good. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Definitely another one that I need more time with because there's definitely a bit more to digest on this album. But yeah, some solid stuff.
If I remember right, he started with Santana when he was like really young.
Oh yeah, he was still a teenager when
I think he was like a teenager, and he's playing with Santana. It's like, wow, that's crazy.
Right. Exactly. And then he would form Journey.
In '69.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think Neil Sean was in Journey. Was in Santana by that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he goes to do Journey, and Journey is like, it's funny because Journey is known for like these really piano ballads.
They're like pop rock.
And then you forget, like, this guy's a really good guitar player.
Oh yeah, he's a terrific player.
Yeah, he's a terrific player.
I think he's very underrated.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
But yeah, I heard the third album is better though, so I might get Santana's third album because I think Neil Sean his playing is a lot more prominent on that one, so I might get that one next.
The only album I know is Supernatural because it won.
Oh yeah, right, exactly.
Grammys.
I do have that one. Yeah.
Album of the year, song of the year. It was a huge album.
Yeah.
Really good guitar playing on that album, I would say. But
yeah. Okay, next we have a very notable band. We have Sly and the Family Stone,
Okay.
and this is their '69 album, Stand. Okay, another R&B, funk, psychedelic type of band. I know, very highly regarded and very influential. Of course, Sly Stone is known for his antics, but regardless,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's like, is he one of the words like the big glasses or the fringe outfit? I don't know.
maybe. I know he was coked beyond belief. Ugh, ugh.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
many drugs, skipping
Sure.
shows, band
Uh,
members quitting on him because they couldn't take him anymore.
yeah, I just remember he had like outrageous outfits, if I remember right. But yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, I got this one because many people said this is definitely one of the best ones that they did, and I enjoy this one. Again, need more time with this one, but playing on here is very good. Some great guitar playing, some great bass playing, of course. Um, Pretty much enjoyed every song. I would name every song on here, but there's one song I can't say because it has a certain word I'm not allowed to say, or else I'll get canceled.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes. So
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So yeah. Regardless, though, besides that, still very enjoyable. But yeah, definitely want to check out a bit more. I don't love them quite yet. Okay, now here's a very notable artist here. We have Rod Stewart. So we have I nearly played a song again. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm on iTunes, by the way. That's how I'm reading off the songs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is 72, so this is his fifth or fourth album. Can't remember. Um, but yeah, if you like Every Picture Tells a Story, it's basically the same thing. Still pretty good though. Again, still has that still has that feel that Rod just had his band next to him. They just had the mics everywhere, and they just hit record, and they just kind of just started playing from there. Um, some great, of course, Rod still sounds great. The whole band, I think Ronnie Wood still playing on these albums, and his guitar playing is very good.
From Rolling Stones?
Yeah, yeah. Ronnie
Oh,
Wood would later join the Rolling Stones.
oh, okay.
Yeah, he joined after what album? I know he joined after It's Only Rock and Roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was Back to Blue. I think Black and Blue. I think that's the first album he appeared. He was like I think official member. I could be wrong on that. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
but something around that time.
was Jones a guitar player before that? And then
Which one?
in Rolling Stones, was it like Jones was one of the
Brian
guitar,
Jones?
and then he died, and then
Yeah.
they added Ronnie Wood later?
Yeah. So it goes Brian Jones, then you got
Oh, Mick Taylor. Okay.
Mick Taylor, and then you have Ronnie
Uh,
Wood.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, because of course Rod and Ronnie were in the part of the Faces before, so that's kind of why he's on here.
Uh,
But every song here is great. True Blue, Mama, you've been on my mind. Italian Girls, Angel, You Wear It Out, You Wear It Well. I'd rather go blind. Yeah, solid album, very good stuff. I don't know how much you know Rod Stewart.
I just hear about that album you talked about.
Every Picture Tells a Story.
Yeah, I think that's the one everybody says I should listen to. I think.
I think you'll enjoy it.
If I'm right. I
Yeah,
know Maggie May, or was
Maggie May. Yeah,
that's a
that's
good song. And then there's a song about like if you like my body and you think I'm
do,
sexy.
do you
I
think I'm
can't
sexy?
remember.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think I'm sexy? That was one of his. That was basically when he went disco for a little bit.
Yeah, I can't say I'm a big fan of that. I mean, but I've heard that one.
Hmm.
Don't know much about Rod Stewart. Just he had a couple. He had a couple of hits later
Yeah,
on.
I
Uh,
like him. Yeah, he
he
did.
sang this song. Have you told me, or if I told you lately that I love you? And
Oh yeah, that was a later one.
that's a
That
good
was
song.
a Yeah, that was a cover of Van Morrison.
Yeah, so that's a cover. Yeah, and then Forever Young was a song he did also. That
Mm,
was really
yeah,
good.
that was a good one. That was one of his '80s ones.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what I know.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, definitely check him out. I think you'll probably enjoy some of his early stuff. Some of definitely has a very, very acoustic heavy.
I remember his son was on Celebrity Rehab. I remember that too.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
With the great Gary Busey.
Oh,
That's so great. That season of Gary Busey was crazy. Anyways.
yeah. All right, let's get. There's a couple comments here. Let's see. We have. I was 14 years old when Roxy Music came out with Country
Yes.
Life, so it was very nice to look at.
Yes.
I bet,
great, yeah.
especially for a 14-year-old.
Oh yeah.
And then here we go. We have there's Garrett right here.
Hey, Garrett.
Still live. Yes, we are.
Yeah,
2 hours in. We have 4 more to go. Just started watching.
I just started watching.
Yeah, so hopefully you'll enjoy the last 4 I'm about to show. Well, maybe 2 of them. All right, next up, we're going for Supertramp.
Supertramp.
This one is called Crisis. What Crisis? As you can see, there's a guy in the middle of a fallout and he's just chilling. So this is part of their classic period, which started with Crime of the Century and would end with Breakfast in America. So it's like a 4-album run. So this is the second of that run. So I don't know which one would be my least favorite of the classic run. It's either this one or Even in the Quietest Moment. I have to listen to that album again.
Nick, what's that?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, it's either this one or this one. But despite that, I still think this is still a really good album. Probably not as immediate as the other ones, but still, I think there's still some good songwriting here. Easy does it. Great opening track. Sister Moonshine, probably the most well-known song on the album. That's a great one. Soapbox Opera, very cool. Lady, Poor Boy, Just a Normal Day, The Meaning, Two of Us. Altogether, just very good stuff. Also, the back cover is also pretty funny. It's just them on the beach. Kind of a weird photo to include, but oh well. But still, very good stuff.
I heard a song the other day by Supertramp. It came on my Spotify.
And
I really liked it, and I was like,
which one?
It was like right, bloody well right.
Oh, that's on Crime of the Century.
And I was like, what is this song? And then I saw Supertramp. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like,
oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good song.
I really got into that song. I was like,
that's good. Yeah, it's good that's on Crime of the Century.
Right, you bloody well right, or something like that. It was like,
yes, very British sounding.
Very British. Yeah.
Gotta love them. But yeah, that's good. Then Zeb says it would end with the underrated famous last words. I've heard some people say that's a decent album too. Oh, go away. There we go. All right. Next up, let's go back to 71. So here we have a band called Traffic. Of course, what's notable about Traffic is that this is where one of the bands Steve Winwood was in. So I know he was a big part of this band. Let's see who else was on here. It doesn't tell you who's on this album. So I know Steve Winwood's on here. That's all I know.
Okay.
I know there's some other notable people in here. It was produced by Steve Winwood too. So this is their third album. I do have one other Traffic album. It was just a self-titled album, and I enjoyed that one. So this album is called The Low Spark of High-Heeled Boys. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Very interesting cover too. Kind of more abstract.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, like you see the white corners there. That's actually supposed to be empty space because that's the shape. Because it was supposed to be like a weird album cover shape, a unique, like a square, like a cube. Kind of like Nick's like Augen's Flake vinyl, where it's in a circle. Here it's kind of like it was supposed to be like this cube type of shape. So I'm not sure how that looked.
would do. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, just to be different. but yeah, this is another really good one. I think I prefer this one over the last Traffic album I heard. This one they're definitely experimenting a bit more. They're definitely going more up a progressive rock sound. Um, some still has some blues influence as well, of course. Traffic were kind of a blues band, a blues rock band originally. But yeah, a lot of interesting musicianship on here. 6 tracks, one song is 12 minutes. So, yep, some, but yeah, good playing. Not much to say. All right, we got 2 more to go. Let's see. I really like the song "Lady." That was a good song. That was on Crisis that I just showed earlier. All right, got 2 more to go. So, which one do I go first? All right, I'll go with this one first because I originally want this to be last, but let's end on a good one, on a really good one. So this one had the honor of being the 1000th CD in the
oh,
collection,
yeah,
and of course is Venom,
Venom.
black metal. So I mentioned this in the video, but I do know a little bit about this band. Even though the album's called black metal, it doesn't really sound like a black metal album. It's kind of more traditional heavy metal. Of course, this would later, of course, many Norwegian bands would be influenced by this album, and therefore black metal was created later on in the 90s. But yeah, it's heavy. Definitely has a raw production sound to it, which of course black metal will take to the extreme later. So you can see the influence where those bands got it from. If you're into this type of music, of course you're gonna enjoy it. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say, but yeah, this is a good addition, good historical piece as well.
Why do I feel like there's like I think of like yeah when you're talking about like all these black metal, thrash metal, whatever metal.
Mm-hmm.
I always think of like yeah European like countries like Germany are big. I feel like on that kind of stuff and maybe Holland. Like you mentioned somebody like Dutch or something, and then
Mm-hmm.
maybe even the Norwegian area. I
Yeah,
was thinking about that. Like why is that? I wonder why there's. I think a lot of European like it's a big deal or something. I don't know.
yeah, it's kind of it's very interesting because of course heavy metal started in England.
Huh.
Of course, it kind of branched off from there. Of course, you have Norway with the black metal movement. Sweden, you have the death metal movement.
Okay. Yeah. So okay. So
So
I'm on to
it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting how each region has their own take.
yeah, yeah. And I always hear like these German bands and they're just like, oh my God, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's
All
one
right.
oh, there's one band that's just crazy band that's from Germany that everybody talks about and I can't remember, but
Yeah. Yeah. There's a ton of I can't really. I don't know. I only know one German metal band off the top of my head. It's probably not the one you're thinking of. So, yeah. And look who joined us as well. We have Josh from Through the
Josh,
Lens. What's up, guys? Hello. Glad you can stop by because I'm on the last album.
we're on the last album.
All right. So let's see. Let me just pull that up over here on my screen. So let's end off on a very high note. So it's funny because there's a song called Higher Ground on this album. The album question is Inner Visions by Stevie Wonder.
You wonder.
Yep, trying to build that Stevie Wonder collection. So came out in 73. This was part of his big like his most creative and commercial the success he's had in the 70s. Definitely, and yep, I would not argue with that. Top to bottom, just some great singing, of course. I mean, Stevie always had a fantastic voice and always sounds incredible, and the playing on here is outstanding as well. Just every instrument just fits perfectly well, and I believe Stevie played a lot of the instruments on the album as well. Let me just double check. I'm not sure if this will mention it, but I know even though he's blind, he can do a
Yeah.
ton. He can do a ton. Okay, it doesn't really give you the specifics, but yeah, this is definitely a really good one of this classic period. So there we go. All right.
He won like the Grammy Album of the Year 3 times in 4 years or something like that.
That would not surprise me.
And the Intervisions was one of them, I know. And
Yeah.
Songs in the Key of Life was another one. But yeah,
Yeah, that was another big one.
he just owned like, early 70s, was like all Stevie Wonder.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, that is 52 CDs covered.
Wow. 52.
All right. Let's see. Let's see some more comments. You might like a Brotosh band called. Oh yeah, I think he mentioned them. I know Josh mentioned them at one point. I think it was during like one of the Z talks. I think when I was on, I think he brought that one up.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't checked them out yet, but that's still on the list. Okay, and then I think a couple people were trying to answer your question on the German band you were thinking of. Some people say
Rammstein. That's it.
That was the one. Okay, that was the one. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep hearing about them. They sound like a crazy band.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything by them, but I don't know. Maybe one day I'll check them out. Oh look, we have DJ Trish. Hello, glad you can stop by. All right, so there we have it. That's 52 albums covered, spiced in September. So, yep, I'm tired, and yet my collection is still growing because I bought albums. I already bought CDs for this month already, so it never stops.
Yeah,
I think already in October I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Maybe this 13. Is the third day in October?
Yes. So, yeah. It never stops. But hopefully, to the people watching, hopefully you've enjoyed this. So, of course, Jason, thank you very much for joining me on this journey.
Thanks for letting me join in and give my 2 cents, whatever that's worth.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, you got to throw your 2 cents on a couple things, you know. All right. So, and also, yeah, there you go. That's how you spell my name. But again, that's fine. Trust me, autocorrect is terrible.
Yeah.
Autocorrect always gets my name wrong.
In fact, when I put Briar in, it always has like a red line underneath it. Like,
yes.
I'm like, I didn't misspell it. That's the word.
Yeah. Because I know my father was the one who named me, and I think he's supposed to spell it because traditionally the way my name's spelled is not how you traditionally spell it. It's supposed to be, I think traditionally it's supposed to be spelled BRIAR, but for some reason he put YER.
Okay.
we to this day we have no idea why.
All right.
But that's what happens. All right. Yeah. And then DJ Trish says my collection is growing too. I have an excuse. I'm a DJ.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it. So, Jason, before we go, do you want to plug in your channel real quick?
Yeah, my channel is Jason the Old Millennial. Cover movies and music. A little bit of both. I try to do a lot of lists of my favorite stuff and still doing my top 100 favorite albums list. I still got 17, I think, albums left to talk about on there. And then I do a lot of live streams with like Briar and Garrett and Nick. We talk about different albums and all that. Yeah. So.
All right. Very cool. All right. So it's not there right now, but after we're done here, I'm going to put link to his channel into the description. So you can go ahead and check him out. Please subscribe to him, of course. And also,
hey, Adam.
Yeah, Adam. Hello. It's pretty late over there, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, 10 o'clock.
Right. Glad you can at least stick around for a little bit. We're almost done though. All right. So normally I'll be rambling until we get to 2:15, but I'm not gonna do it because I've talked too much. All right. So I guess I should quickly plug in what's coming up on my channel. I know the next video will probably be top 5 albums of 78s because I'm still in my 70s series. I've taken a little break from it for too long. So I need to finish that series. I only need 2 more to go. So 78 will be the next one, and we'll see what happens afterward. So look forward to that. Go ahead and close out. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, if you're watching this afterwards, please give this stream a like, subscribe if you're new, and we will see you in the next one. So take care and goodbye for now.